Hello and welcome to another review. Today's review is going to be on KATO's EMD SD80MAC. These have been discontinued. I got mine on eBay. Less than the prices on here, $74.99. I think I got mine for about 60 bucks a piece. I have two of them. So these are discontinued, but you can still find them in train shows, and some train shops still have them. But they are discontinued as far as KATO is concerned. But I'm going to go ahead and review these today because I've been struggling to review Broadway Limited's E-units because I have not been able to get them to work at all. There's a review that I've been working on, but it's a mess. It's because they refuse to run. So I'm going to review something that I know runs and is really nice, and is in fact one of my favorite models. So let's go. Alright, opening up the package. Usual KATO packaging. You've got off to the side here some details. There's number boards and then there's handrails. I have the number boards installed, and then I will install the handrails once I get this out here in a minute. Alright, here we go. Here's KATO's SD80MAC. This is the Conrail one, obviously. This is a pretty nice model. We'll go through some of the details and I'll explain, a little bit more about this model, and then we'll give it a run. So let's get started. Okay, starting off in the very front of the locomotive, we have the snowplow, and then we have behind that not a whole lot of details, not really any MU hoses or anything, not really a couple of cut bar. It's kind of molded in there a little bit, but it's not that great. Above that you do have ditch lights that are lit, and they look really good. KATO always does solid lighting, and this model has no exception. And then you have the usual KATO coupler. This locomotive comes packaged with two sets of couplers. There's the normal coupler that's installed, like on this one, and then there's a second set of longer couplers because the SD80s were notoriously long. They were the longest single-engine diesel locomotive in North America, tied with the SD90s. They're both the same length. These models come with longer couplers that can go around shorter radiuses. But I have one of the longer couplers installed on the other model. I'll put in a clip of that here. But I only use it when coupling to cars because I have some longer auto rack cars and stuff like that that also don't play nice with radiuses that are too small. Then we go on to the deck. There's safety tread on the deck. There's handrails up above that are pretty sturdy. I didn't put in the handrails that go in to the actual body. I will show you a clip of that once they're installed. And then you have the Conrail quality paint there on the front. Painting on this model is really good. KATO always does a really good job with the painting, and this is of course no exception. And then above that you have the marker lights. There's not actually lit, and KATO could have at least maybe painted them red, or at least a different color besides the same color as the body, because of course Conrail's SD80MACs had working marker lights, and then the CSX ones did as well. Norfolk Southern removed the marker lights once they got them from Conrail, but Conrail's ones and CSX's ones had working marker lights, so they could have at least painted those a different color besides plain blue. But that's something easily that can be fixed by the modeler, or you can do what I'm going to do eventually and actually light the marker lights. Then in between the marker lights we've got the doors and then some grab irons. That stuff's all cast in. It looks fairly normal for N scale. It's not the best, but it works. And then up on top of the nose you've got tiny little grab irons that are of course molded in, and then there's some what I assume are sand fill caps or something similar that are also on the nose. Then onto the windshield you've got cast in windshield wipers, and above that there's the headlight and the number boards. The headlight is lit very well, just like the rest of the lighting on any other KATO's engine, but unfortunately the number boards aren't lit, which is unusual because normally KATO's pretty good at lighting number boards, but this might have been before they started actually doing that, considering this is an older model. And now onto the side of the locomotive. Starting at the top, you have a little bit of antenna detail. It's all cast in, and it's not as nicely cast in as some of KATO's newer models, such as the SD70 Aces and Gevos. Then further down, you got the windows. The windows actually do look really good. Very crisp painting on them, and then you can see the different layers, some of the windows that are inside of the cab that would normally slide open. Then below that, you have the 4123 number. Again, printing's really good. And then below that, you have the Radial AC SD80MAC logo that Conrail put on their AC engines, the SD80 and SD70s that Conrail had. Then down below that, you've got some more panels, and then you've got a little bit more printing down there just above the truck. And then the trucks have some pretty good detail. They're not the most amazing trucks I've ever seen, but they actually do look really good for in scale, and it looks like there's some separately applied pieces on there too. Continuing along down the side, you've got several warning labels that are printed on. I'm sure they're probably not readable, but they do look pretty good, and they are much like the ones on the actual prototype. You've got more panels, more doors. You've got the handrail continuing along down the side. Once again, the handrails on this are pretty sturdy. Then you see the start of the Conrail quality logo there, and then there's some vents up top. The vents are pretty good. The vents and fans on this model look pretty good. They're better than some of the other models I've seen, but they're not the most detailed. Continuing along, you can see the Conrail quality logo. You can see a little bit of steps on the right. You've got the fuel tank down at the bottom, and then you can see the horn assembly up at the top. Coming around now to the rear of the engine, you can see the large radiator section. That looks really good. The fans on top look very nice. They're not perfect as usual, but they are very, very good. Then you have some more printing down near the dynamic brake section on the very back, and then you've got more truck detail down there. Looks very good. Now onto the back, you can see the very plain pilot, much like I mentioned on the front, except this one doesn't have a plow to cover up. It's plain details. You have another KATO coupler. Again, they come with two sets of couplers. In fact, it comes with two couplers for each end, so I have a total of 4 long couplers. I'm only using one. And you've got the Conrail logo printed small on the back. Then you've got more marker lights up there that are, again, not painted, not lit. Well, they are painted blue, but they're not painted to make them stand out from the fact that they're actual lights in the real model. And then you've got more taillights and more number boards. Once again, the number boards aren't lit, but the taillight is very well lit. And then of course on the other side, there's just a little bit of difference in the assembly of the locomotive here. On the top, you can see a little bit of grab iron detail on the left where it comes up the side and then onto the roof. And then you've got some vents and then the smokestack at the back. Here you can see the horn assembly as well as the 4 fans that cover the very back of the locomotive. Alright, so as you can see, this is a really nice model. It's not the most detailed thing, but it is a fantastic runner, and I'd like to get some more road numbers of this in the future, and I plan on getting the number boards lit, possibly, but definitely the marker lights lit, and maybe even sound installed on this locomotive and the other one that I have. So let's go ahead and put this on the track and let it run with the other one. And bringing it around, it's at 7 speed steps right now. This, like all KATO locomotives, have really smooth motors in them. Let's see, we'll bring it down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's at 1 speed step. Doesn't look like it's moving. It could be because it has a long train behind it. Here it comes at 1 speed step. 2, 3, 4. So you can see it does have very good slow speed. And I can show you the headlight on and off. There you can see, you can't see the headlight that great just because it's on a white background around it. So I'll get some more shots. You'll be able to see this locomotive in action with the lights and everything. Otherwise, I don't think I have anything else to say besides this locomotive is a really strong one, and it's one of my favorites because of that. Alright, let's give her some juice.